Hi everyone, it's me Kyla D. Lopez, and for this video, I am going to talk about the operant conditioning by Burrhus F. Skinner. As an outcome, please get in touch with me till the end of the discussion. So now, think about it. How does operant conditioning discovered? And what are the types of operant conditioning and how does it works? And lastly, why operant conditioning important in learning towards learners? So, keep watching this video if you like to learn more about it. As a result, at the end of this video, you will be able to first, recall the historical background of operant conditioning by Burrhus F. Skinner. And second, familiarize the types of operant conditioning and how it works. And lastly, you will recognize the role of operant conditioning in learning process. Okay, are you ready to learn? So, let's learn together. Without further ado, let's get started. In 1948, Skinner studied operant conditioning by conducting experiments using animals which he placed in a Skinner box, which was similar to Thorndike's fossil box. A Skinner box, also known as operant conditioning chamber. It is a device used to objectively record an animal's behavior in a compressed time frame. The term operant conditioning was coined by B.F. Skinner in 1937 in the context of reflex physiology to differentiate what he was interested in behavior that affects the environment from the reflex-related subject matter of the Pavlovians. So, operant conditioning is also known as instrumental conditioning. It is a method of learning normally attributed to B.F. Skinner, where the consequences of the response determine the probability of it being repeated. Through operant conditioning, behavior, which is reinforced or rewarded, will likely be repeated, and behavior, which is punished, will occur less frequently. The operant conditioning can also be used to decrease a behavior via the removal of desirable outcome of the application of a negative outcome. So, the theory of B.F. Skinner is based upon the idea that learning is a function of change in overt behavior. Changes in behavior are the result of an individual response to events or stimuli that occurs in the environment. The basic concept behind operant conditioning is that a stimulus or antecedent leads to a behavior, which then leads to the consequences. This form of conditioning involves reinforces both positive and negative, as well as primary, secondary, and generalized. So, operant conditioning focuses on using either reinforcement or punishment to increase or decrease a behavior. Through this process, an association is formed between the behavior and the consequences of the behavior. First is reinforcement. Reinforcement aims to increase desired behavior and can be accomplished in two ways, positively and negatively. With positive reinforcement, behavior is increased by rewarding the learners with favorable stimuli. An e-learning module could utilize positive reinforcement by, for example, providing the learners with tokens, gadgets, and desirable feedbacks after the completion of a milestone or task. This would encourage further completion of the module. Negative reinforcement refers to the removal of an undesired stimuli to the reward behavior. In an online game-based learning module, negative reinforcement could be accomplished by, for example, removing the added pressure of a timer once the learner reaches a certain level of milestone. This would encourage the learners to continue playing. The second is the punishment. Punishment seeks to decrease undesired behavior and can also be accomplished positively and negatively. So, the positive punishment refers to providing a learner with unfavorable stimuli to weaken undesired behavior. In an online game-based learning environment, positive punishment can be accomplished by, for example, giving a student a loud warning signal for not completing a learning task in the dedicated time frame. This would weaken the learner's relaxed approach to the task completion. With the negative punishment also, undesirable behavior is weakened by removing favorable stimuli. In a game-based learning environment, negative punishment could be exercised by, for example, withdrawing a student's tokens, gadgets, or rewards for incompletion of a game-based learning task in that dedicated time frame. This would also weaken the learner's relaxed approach to the completion. So, you already know the 4 types of operant conditioning, which are positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement, and the negative punishment. So, if you use this properly, it could be used to solve a variety of social and resource dilemmas, especially in the case of the cattle ranchers and overgrazing. So guys, Skinner's theory of operant conditioning played a key role in helping psychologists to understand how behavior is learned. It explains why reinforcement can be used effectively in the learning process and how schedules of reinforcement can affect the outcome of conditioning. Skinner's research also addressed the use of behavioral shaping, whereby successive approximations of unexpected response are also reinforced, leading a subject gradually towards the desired types of behavior. An advantage of operant conditioning is its ability to explain learning in real-life situations. Operant conditioning remains an important and often used tool in the learning and behavior modification process. Sometimes, natural consequences lead to changes in our behavior. So guys, discipline is important for a child's success and development. Most teaching staff would vouch for that. It's easy to think that discipline is always a form of punishment, but in truth, this doesn't have to be the case. So, operant conditioning encourages positive reinforcement, which can be applied in the classroom environment to get the good behavior you want and need for your pupils.